Okay, I got into filmmaking in high school. I fell in love with the camera. I love the movement of camera and capturing moments. And I found myself writing a lot of stories about society changing. And then I realized that documentary more than fiction was going to be more of my niche. And that's proven true for the last 20 years. Um, People come to me with interesting stories that want to be shared, and I just feel a calling to go and do that and capture it with the camera. So my film Diversidad, which plays at Cinema Politica, is a film that we shot in 2003. We're two directors, Stefan Verna and myself, and it's a film about a group of young activists who go out into the world after finishing university to find out what the real issues are, kind of get a hands-on experience about the issues surrounding food and globalization. So the food system intersecting with the economic system. And so we went off on this journey. It lasted 3 months, and we met a whole bunch of people creating alternative models. And we discovered some of the problems with industrial agriculture. And I think the film is a real telling of age of people starting with ideas and being idealistic and realizing that things aren't so simple, and that as much as you want to change the world, really what is it about yourself that you can change? And that's what we hope to transmit to people. And I think it's a story that touches the heart. A lot of the stories of these young people going through and the people that they meet. And I hope that when viewers watch it, they come away a bit more empowered and softer in the heart when we can see all these problems in the world. This way they kind of reflect more towards inwardly, and they decide, well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to think a bit more about what my eating habits are and how I consume food. My first motivation in doing documentary filmmaking is a selfish one, and it's that I love going out into the world and meeting people who have interesting stories to tell. It's really the school of life at its most. But as a student who goes to school, my duty is to capture this. And then I have to go home and do my homework. I have to edit the work and then share it with the world. And they say to really learn something, the best way is to teach it to someone. Making a documentary film is I'm not looking at teaching at all, but I'm looking to share it. And I much prefer that idea. And so I go into the world filming things that I find to be important for myself and for society. And I just love this dynamic. Documentary films, for me, is just, I have a natural instinct of going and gathering things. I don't have as much the instinct to write and make a fiction film. So it really fits well to my style of creation. I would also say that I'm interested in short form and interactive forms now with the web. So interactive web documentaries, I think, offer a lot, especially with the subject matters that I'm starting to explore. So the intersection of arts and politics for me is an interesting subject. For me, I think everyone can make their own types of films. Some can be very subjective, and that's fine. But I always try to be artistic when I make my films. And if the message is less strong, if you really have an agenda, I'd rather have that, because I really try. I think I connect with the heart when I do things. So I want people to feel things, and I think art is very powerful at doing that, in the sense that it doesn't force you to feel a certain way. It evokes things out of the viewers from their own point of view. And I think that's good art, and I'm excited about that. I do my best doing what I do. I just try to stay true to what comes out of me. And if I'm doing that, then I'm happy. And then viewers can either like it or not like it. So currently, I work as a freelance camera director, and I do that for a living. But my own projects are still developing. And I have two that are sort of on the go. One, I'm looking to talk more about workers' cooperatives. So I think it's an alternative model to business that I think is very interesting. Versus the shareholder model. And that's part of a bigger project, which is about living systems thinking, holistic design, the process of trying to think about everything. Kind of nicknaming that one, making your way around the circle. So I'm working with a really great group of activists, filmmakers who are also very passionate about this. It's a very complex subject to take on, but I think our society really needs to stop thinking in a linear fashion. stuck in dualism and really realize that a multitude of issues and solutions and approaches have to happen all at once. And I think for future generation, that's where they're going to be. So I'd like to try to help out and pioneer this type of thinking. Talking about distribution, I don't really know the terrain of the Canadian distribution that well. But I would say the internet is amazing. For both my films, we self-released them on DVDs, but also using the web, Facebook, and now releasing with video on demand. And that led to distributors taking on the films and getting a wider audience. I think for me, I've thought about what is it that I really want to make? What's come to me in my life that I should share with others? And knowing what that niche is and what the audience for that niche is. And from there, things can grow. But with a tool like the internet, we're just very blessed. I really love the work that Cinema Politica is doing. There are many documentaries that I would not have known about, let alone have seen if it wasn't for Cinema Politica. And then to go to Concordia or to whichever venue you go and to find yourself surrounded by a dozen or a few hundred other people who are passionate about the same subject. And then often the filmmakers are there and you have a nice Q&A. It's just such a rich experience and it's such a blessing. I think for as a filmmaker, it's great because they're sharing our film. But I think as an audience member, it's golden. And we can see how much it's grown in 10 years all around the world. It's a really precious thing. And they have an amazing selection of films. So I just always encourage people when people don't know about it, I let them know and that they should go and check out some of the films. It's a really unique thing.